Hello friends, today we are going to study about sleeves. Myself, Dr. M.KANIMOZHI, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Home Science, Sri Sharada College for Women, Salem. The content of my presentation includes an introduction about sleeves and what are the factors which need to be considered in designing a perfect sleeve and the classification of sleeve. In that, we will be dealing with certain sleeves as well as styles which is attached with the bodies, and sleeveless styles will also be touched upon. Finally, we will be seeing about the drafting procedure of all these sleeves. Then we will be winding off the session. Introduction. It is well known to everyone that the part of the clothing which is used to cover the arm, we will be calling it as sleeve. That is, any textile material which is used to cover your hand and your arm portion, we will be telling that material as a sleeve. This sleeve can be of any type. It can be a short length sleeve or it will be a medium length, that is the 3/4 sleeve, or even some cases it can be a full length sleeve, that is a long sleeve. This sleeve will be having opening at one end for the passage of the hand, particularly hand and arm will be passed through the opening. In some cases, that is in rare cases, there will be a sleeve which will be extended even beyond the hand for some decorative purpose. So this sleeve will support the designer aspect of the garment as well as the functional aspect of the garment, namely your comfort zone. Now we will be discussing about what are the factors which need to be considered in designing a sleeve. First of all, we have to think of the figure of the wearer. We will be very much familiar that there are various types of figures, namely short figure, tall figure, thin figure, and even stout figure. So depending upon the figure, for example, if you are designing a sleeve for a thin figure, you have to select sleeve accordingly. You should avoid bell sleeve or bishop sleeve like that. Or if you are designing a sleeve for a tall figure, you shouldn't use any full length sleeve. You should go for a 3/4 sleeve or you should go for a short sleeve. So according to the type, that is according to the type of the figure, you have to select the sleeve. Then coming on to the next thing, that is the design of the fabric. You will be using a stiff fabric. In some cases, you will be using a very soft fabric. Accordingly, you have to select the sleeve. For example, if you are using a bell sleeve means, or if you are going for a circular sleeve means, definitely you shouldn't use any stiffer material like cotton like that. You have to only go for a very soft material. So the fabric texture also plays a major role in designing the sleeve of a garment. Then next comes the design of the dress. There will be a variety of dresses designed nowadays. For example, traditional wear are there or party wear are there. So accordingly, you have to select the sleeve design. For example, if you are designing a sleeve for a patipavadi, that is a traditional garment, just consider. I shouldn't use any bell sleeve or bishop sleeve. In some cases, you didn't go for dolman sleeve like that. Only you have to select a simple type of sleeve which will be very much suitable to the traditional wear like puff sleeve, or you can go for a normal plain sleeve too. Or you can make any some variations just by doing contrast color things, or by using cuffs, or by adding any pipings, or by using mainly trimmings over the sleeve. Then what is the purpose and use of the garment? We have to think whether we are going to use that particular garment for a official wear, that is a office wear or a casual wear or a party wear. Accordingly, you have to select the sleeve design. If you are using a sleeve for a casual wear, definitely please try to avoid the decorative sleeves. This won't give you any comfort zone. Just you have to go for a simple sleeve, which is very much comfortable. Or if you are designing a garment for a party wear, you have to select it accordingly. Gender and age of the wearer. According to the age of the person, you have to select the sleeve. If you are designing a garment for aged people, please try to avoid the decorative things. Just go for a normal traditional things, normal day-to-day sleeves. And now coming to the gender, the sleeve will be used according to the gender. Gender is a feminine look or a masculine look. Most of the sleeves will give you a feminine look. So you should avoid these feminine look sleeves, particularly for a masculine type of persons. So if in case, for example, we are talking, if you are using a puff sleeve, it's definitely puff sleeve is very much suitable for a women's wear. The reason is it will give you a feminine look. So you can't use the puff sleeve for a men's apparel or for a boys apparel. So you have to select sleeve according to the gender as well as the age of the wearer. Then we will be seeing about the classification of sleeve. In general, sleeve is divided into two major types. One is called as satin sleeve, another one is called as a sleeve which is attached with the bodice. Now let us talk about satin sleeve. Satin sleeve is a simple one which is cut and stitched separately. Finally, that sleeve is sewed, that is attached to the armhole. This type of sleeve is called as a satin sleeve. And talking about the sleeves which is directly attached with the bodice, this style of sleeves in which full bodies or part of the bodies is combined with the sleeve. In this type, still one more thing is included, that is sleeveless styles. It is just a simple modification of the armhole. So this is called as a sleeveless styles. Then we will be dealing with these satin sleeves as well as the sleeves which is attached with the bodies in detail. Let us start with the satin sleeves. There are various types of satin sleeves. We will be just seeing about the sleeves which is commonly used in the garment. First one is plain sleeve, then puff sleeve. This puff is again divided into three types. One is puff at the bottom, another one is puff at the top, and we will be having puff at both ends. Then we will be discussing about bell sleeve, followed by bishop sleeve, circular sleeve, and finally ligament sleeve will be discussed in this satin sleeve. Let us start with the basic one, that is the plain sleeve. So plain sleeve remains as the basic of all the sleeves. From this image itself, you can clearly tell that plain sleeve won't be having any pullers both in the armhole portion and at the end portion. So this type of plain sleeve can be used easily everywhere in all types of garments and in all types of men's apparel, women's apparel as well as kids apparel. You can use this plain sleeve. Now I will tell you how to draft a simple plain sleeve because plain sleeve remains as the base for all these sleeves. So you should know how to draft a plain sleeve. These were the steps in drafting a simple plain sleeve. Now let us start. First of all, for drafting, you need a drafting pattern sheet. So take a pattern sheet and you should have an on-fold in the line AD. Okay, so you have to fold the sheet in on-fold and mark that on-fold portion as AD. AD is nothing but the sleeve length. You have to take the measurement of the sleeve length and you have to mark that one as AD. Then you have to mark AB. AB is also a very simple one. It is nothing but it is half of your lower arm circumference. That is, sorry, you half of your arm square depth. In addition to that, you have to minus 3 by 4 inch with the arm square measurement. So that measurement is called as AB. So I will repeat it once again. AD is nothing but AD is a sleeve length and AB is nothing but arm square depth. You have to take the arm square depth and you have to divide it by 2. So that is called as arm square depth. We have to minus 3 by 4 inch in that measurement. So that is AB. Then you have to draw a parallel line to BC. You have to draw a parallel line to AD. That parallel line is called as BC. So BC is nothing but BC is also the sleeve length. Then similarly, you have to draw a parallel line to AB, that is CD. CD is parallel to AD. So you will be getting a perfect rectangle. So this is step 1. You have to move on to the step 2. Step 2 means on BC, you have to mark a point E. E is very simple. You have to measure AB measurement and you have to divide that measurement with 2. So half of the AB is the measurement for BE. Then you have to mark B from E on the line BC. Then on the line CD, you have to mark a point F. So you have to mark from D to F. So D to F is very easy. It is nothing but lower arm circumference plus 1 by 4 inch. You have to take the lower arm circumference. You have to divide it with 2. So it is of lower arm circumference. Don't forget friends, it is DFS of lower arm circumference. Then you have to add 1 by 4 inch with that. So this is step 2. Then you have to join A with E. Then finally you have to join E with F. Then we will be moving on to the step 3. You have to measure A and E and you have to divide that measurement with 4 so that you will be getting 4 equal off on the line A, B. But you will be getting 3 points. C, 1 off, that is A to small a is 1 off, A to B is 2 off, B to C is 3 off, and C to E is 4 off. So you will be dividing AE measurement into 4 equal parts and you will be marking 3 points, namely A, B, and C. Then step 4. On the point, that is on the line ABC, you have to take 1 by 4 inch away from each. That is from A, you have to mark a point A1, that is 1 by 4 inch away, upward direction. And from B also, you have to mark a point B1. This is also 1 by 4 inch. That is also in the upper direction. Similarly, on from C, you have to mark a point C1, which is 1 by 4 inch down of the C1. down of the C, that point is 0. Finally, we have to draw a line from A to A1, A1 to B1, B1 to C1, and finally you have to end it with E. This is the sleeve cuff for the back. Okay, you have to draft the sleeve cuff for the front. It is well known the front portion will always be a deeper one. Okay. So only one change you need to do when compared to step 4. In step 5, you have to mark a point C2 which is half an inch away from C in the downward direction. Then you have to start a line from you have to draw a line from A to A1, A1 to B, B to C2, and finally you have to join with E. This is the sleeve cuff for the front. Now, your plain draft, that is your plain seam is drafted. So this is your plain seam. So what you have to do? You have to cut from F, T, capital A, then you have to make A1, B1, C1 and E for back. Similarly, E, D, A, then A1, B, C2 and E for the front. So you have to cut in this direction, in this flow, and you have to take it and you have to save it. This is the sleeve. Now we'll be moving on to the next one. That is the variation of the plain sleeve. What are the things which you are going to continue were all the variations of the plain sleeve. So just you have to take a plain sleeve and by slashing and spreading method, you can make that plain sleeve into all types of satin sleeves. We will be dealing with puff sleeve. The puff sleeve is in general is divided into 3 types. One is puff at top, another one is puff at bottom, and you will be having puff at both the ends. So let us start with puff at top. So this puff at top can be drafted. For this, what you have to do means you have to take a plain sleeve and you have to slash from top direction. You have to start slashing from the arm sky portion, arm sky direction towards the lower end. Then you have to, after slashing, you have to spread it and you have to spread it all over the drafting sheet. Then you have to trace a newly spread sleeve and you have to cut it. So this is puff at top. It is well known the extra fabric which you are taken now is just gathered to form a puff at the arm sky portion. So this puff sleeve at top will be having fullness at the arm sky and it will be having no fullness at the bottom. Then puff at bottom. For puff at bottom, you have to start slashing from the lower arm circumference towards the arm sky. Then you have to spread it over a new pattern sheet. Then you have to trace the new sleeve. So this is puff at bottom. Here also the extra fabric is used for gathering so that you can able to make a puff at the bottom. This puff at bottom will be having fullness at the bottom circumference and there will be no fullness at the arm sky tip. Then the last one is puff at both top and bottom. For puff at both top and bottom, you have to start slashing fully. The sleeve is fully slashed into 4 pieces. Then it is spread onto a pattern sheet. Then it is traced into a new one. Then it gathering both at the top portion, that is both at the arm sky portion and at the lower arm portion. So in both these places, it will be having gathering. So this sleeve will be having a fullness at both top as well as the top. This type of sleeve is particularly used in women's garment as well as in the kids garment because this sleeve will give you 100% feminine look. Same bell sleeve. Bell sleeve is also called as peasant sleeve. So this bell sleeve is a long sleeve. It is fitted around the shoulder and particularly in the upper arm and it has flares at the lower end. So this lower end resembles like a bell. So for this pattern, what you have to do means you have to draft a 3/4 sleeve. Okay, then you have to take that pattern and you have to start slashing it from the bottom portion till the elbow portion. Then you have to spread it. Then you have to trace it. Then you have to trace this into a new pattern sheet and you can use it. So this is bell sleeve. So this bell sleeve is also used for women's wear. Then the next one is bishop sleeve. So bishop sleeve is full or quarter length sleeve. It is either full sleeve or 3/4 sleeve. It is having gathering particularly at the lower end. So the main difference you can able to remember. We had also one sleeve which are gathered at the bottom. So that is the perfect bottom. What is the main difference between this perfect bottom and bishop sleeve is This bishop sleeve, the puff portion at the bottom is particularly fitted with a cuff, with a band. So that is the major difference between puff at bottom and bishop sleeve. For drafting this sleeve, what you have to do means you have to take a sleeve, which is either if you want full bishop means you have to take full length sleeve. If you want quarter, that is 3/4 sleeve means you have to take a 3/4 bishop sleeve. Then you have to start slashing it from the bottom towards the upper direction. After slashing, you have to spread it on a new pattern sheet and you have to trace it and you have to use it for bishop sleeve. The extra fabric is used for making gathering. Finally, what you have to do means, as I already mentioned, you have to make a cuff at the bottom and you have to fit this gathering onto the cuff. So this is the bishop sleeve. This bishop sleeve can be used for any types of western wears. Then circular sleeve. Circular sleeve is just a variation of the bell sleeve. That bell sleeve is 3/4 sleeve, but this circular sleeve is usually a short sleeve. In bell sleeve, you will be having the bell shape only from the elbow portion, but here in circular sleeve, you will be having the entire sleeve as a circular shape. So it is just considered as the variation of the bell sleeve. For making this sleeve, what you have to do means you have to slash the entire sleeve into many pieces. Then you have to spread it fully, totally, in order to produce a circle shape. Then you have to trace it, and this is used for circular sleeve. This circular sleeve is mainly used for kids wear and in western collections for teenagers. Then the last one, which is mentioned in the certain sleeve, is ligament and sleeve. So this ligament and sleeve is long sleeve. It is having puff at the top portion and it will be tightly fitting below the elbow. You are also seeing puff at top will be having gathering at the top. So it is similar to puff at top. But what is the difference when compared to puff at top and ligament and sleeve is this ligament and sleeve will be having gathering at the top portion, but it will be tightly fitted after the elbow portion. So you can able to see a tight fitting after the elbow portion. So as already mentioned, it is well known. This you have to take a full length sleeve and you have to start slashing from the arm side. Then after slashing, you have to take a new pattern sheet and you have to spread the slashed area and you have to trace it. So this is called as ligament and sleeve pattern. The extra fabric is used for making the gathering, but in the elbow portion, but after the elbow portion, you can able to see a tight fitting of the sleeve. This type of sleeve is mainly used in olden films. Particularly, you can see Nagesar will be using this type of sleeve in most of the films. Finally, we will be moving on to the later half of the presentation. That is the second half of the classification, that is styles which is attached with the bodies and sleeve combined. In addition to that, we will be seeing sleeveless styles also. So now let us start with sleeves attached with bodies. In this, we will be dealing with raglan sleeve, kimono sleeve, batwing sleeve, as well as dolman sleeve. In the sleeveless styles, we will be seeing square sleeve, magyar sleeve, and finally we will be seeing cap sleeve. We will be seeing raglan sleeve. What is a raglan sleeve means? It is a part of sleeve which is attached to the body. You can able to see a diagonal line, see it properly. So you can able to see a diagonal line. In this type of raglan sleeve, there won't be any shoulder line. Okay. And there won't be any arm sleeve also. So you will be having only a diagonal line which runs from neckline to the underarm. This type of sleeve is in general particularly used for t-shirts and coats. Now let us see how to draft a raglan sleeve. For drafting a raglan sleeve, you need a basic bodice front and back as well as the sleeve pattern. You have to take a basic bodice. From the arm, that is from the underarm, you have to mark a point 13. In this image, can you able to see from 9, you have to mark a point. From 9, you have to mark a point before 13. So in between 9 and 13, you have to mark a point. You can able to see in this red note. In between 9 and 13, you have to mark a point. Similarly, from the neckline also, you have to mark a point. Away from half an inch to 1 inch, you have to take you have to mark a point. Oh, I will repeat it once again. From 9, that is here also you can take off to 1 inch and you have to mark a point. Similarly, in the neck also, neck portion also, from 11, you have to take 1 to 1, half an inch to 1 inch and you have to mark a point. Then you have to draw a diagonal line which can be a curved one, curved diagonal line. Similarly, you have to follow this in the back portion also. Okay. In the diagonal line which you are drawn, in the center portion, just you have to mark a notch. We will be dealing with this notch in the upcoming steps. Okay. You have to repeat the same procedure for back also. So from in the arm style, off to 1 inch, you have to mark a point. Similarly, in the neck portion also off to 1 inch, you have to mark a point. You have to join these 2 points with the diagonal lines, which is also a curved one. In the center portion, you have to mark a small notch. After that, you have to cut. You have to cut the raglan portion alone, and you have to throw the remaining things. Then you have to take a sleeve. It is done for both front and back. Then you have to take the sleeve pattern. What you have to do means you have to spread the sleeve pattern fully and you have to trace it. You have to trace it on a large piece of paper so that you can use it to fit it with the raglan pattern. In this also you have to mark the midpoint of the sleeve cap. Okay, you have to make a small notch and you have to mark the midpoint. Then you have to take a fresh pattern sheet and you have to place the raglan pieces over there and you have to attach this with the sleeve piece. In this time, you have to check with the notches. Okay, you have to check with the notches whether this notch exactly fitted with the notch of the raglan which we already marked. So for this purpose only, we had made notch in the raglan piece as well as in the sleeve pattern. Then you have to join that. Then you have to trace the raglan. So like this. Okay, this is the raglan piece. Can you able to see? This is the sleeve piece. Then you have to trace it. So this is the pattern for raglan. Once you stitch it, you can able to see a diagonal line in the bodice instead of shoulder line as well as the armhole. Now we'll be moving on to the next one, that is the kimono sleeves. This and all is very simple. It is just following the raglan sleeve. So what is a kimono sleeve? Kimono sleeve is nothing but a sleeve which is cut with bodice in a wide sloping position. For this, what you have to do means you have to take a normal bodice as well as the normal sleeve portion and you have to place it as such we already mentioned, or in case you can even take a raglan piece. Can you able to see this drafting thing? So this is a sleeve L, M, N and Y is the sleeve pattern and this one is the bodice pattern. What you have to do means it is just a simple extension from E to D on the body's direction. You have to mark a point F which is just half inch below E. Okay. Then you have to join this F with the sleeve pattern by using just a sloping line. Then you have to keep it on a pattern sheet and you have to trace it. So instead of going for E, you have to, I will be discussing here. N, yes, directly we have to move on to L, M, N, E, then we have to move on to, N, Y, then you have to move on to F. I will repeat it once again. You have to start from N, S, L, M, N, Y. Instead of going to E, you have to move on to F directly. So you will be having a kimono sleeve pattern. This is the image. This image shows the kimono sleeve. So you won't be having any shoulder line and you won't be having any armhole in this time. So it is directly fixed to the bodies. Okay. Then the next one is backbend sleeve. Backbend sleeve is a long sleeve. It will be having a deep armhole and tightened towards the wrist. You can able to see the drafting now. It is similar to kimono sleeve. So this EY You can able to see in this message in this image now. So that is kimono sleeve. What is shown in the green is the batwing sleeve. From this itself, you can clearly tell this batwing sleeve. You have to mark a point G on the line GD such that it is just in the middle of the bodies. So this sleeve will be starting with the middle of the bodies and it will be ending in the sleeve, mid of the sleeve. So it will be starting in the middle of the sleeve. Even if you can go somewhat down, but not upwards towards the upper direction. So it is in the middle or somewhat below the middle. Then you have to join with the mid off of the sleeve. So for this sleeve, what you have to do means you have to place these two pieces, that is the bodice and the sleeve, on the new pattern sheet. Then you have to start joining a new one. First, you have to mark a point on the bodies ED, that is G. Then you have to join G with the middle of the sleeve, that is in between N and Y. After tracing it, you have to cut it from N, S, L, M, then N. Then you will be moving on to G. Okay. So this is the pattern for the backwing sleeve. So this image clearly shows the backwing sleeve. Then the next one is dolman sleeve. Dolman sleeve is a lengthy sleeve. It will be having two bagginess, that is too loose with a very deep armhole, and it is tight at the wrist area. The reason is in this type of dolman sleeve, that is you can able to see the drafting note. The purple which is mentioned is the dolman sleeve. So from the, you have to, as already mentioned, you have to take a basic bodice, you have to take a basic sleeve, you have to place these two pieces onto the new pattern sheet. Then you have to start drawing a new one, new line. That is from D, you need to draw a curved line directly touching with N. Okay. So from D itself, you can start drawing a line directly towards N. That is the sleeve portion. Then for cutting, you have to start with N, S, L, M, N. Directly, you have to move on to H instead of Y and A. So this is the pattern for dolman sleeve. So this image clearly shows how the dolman sleeve will be. So all the sleeves which we are seeing now, that is raglan sleeve, kimono sleeve, batwing sleeve, dolman sleeve. These sleeves won't be having any shoulder line and won't be having any armhole since these sleeves are directly attached with the bodies. Moreover, this sleeve, that is the raglan sleeve, is followed by kimono sleeve. When compared to kimono sleeve, batwing sleeve will be having somewhat loosiness, that is somewhat bagginess, and dolman sleeve will be having full bagginess. Then we will be moving on to the sleeveless types. In the sleeveless types, we will be seeing three things. One is square sleeve, another one is cap sleeve, and the last one is which one? Can you remember? Magyar sleeve. Okay. We will be starting with square sleeve. Just you have to trace the basic bodies. In this sleeveless types, just it is the modification of the what? It is just a modification of the basic bodies, no. So you won't be having any sleeve. So for this pattern, you don't want any sleeve pattern. Just you need the bodice pattern alone. Trace the front bodice pattern. What you have to do means you have to just extend it. So this A, B, E, A1 is the front bodice pattern. You have to trace this and you have to make an extension at the shoulder line. From B, just off to 1 inch, you have to mark a point C. Okay, then you have to join BC. From C, you have to draw a diagonal line to D, then you have to join this D with E. Similarly, from B, you have to draw a diagonal line with F and you have to join it with G. So this newly drawn line is the sleeve cut for square sleeve. Okay. So this should be finished by using a shaped facing. This image is the finished one of the square sleeve. Then the next one is Magyar sleeve. So you have to extend the shoulder line still more. Previously, we will be extending it only to a little, that is half inch to 1 inch. In this Magyar sleeve, we are extending it still more, that is half to 1 inch it is extended. Then you have to mark C as well as C1. So B to C is half inch and C to C1 is 1 inch. Similarly, on the line E, you have to mark a point even. For this, from E, you have to take half an inch to 1 inch and you have to mark a point even. Okay. So this is for shorter Magyar sleeve. If you wanted a longer Magyar sleeve, that is a 3/4 sleeve or full-length Magyar sleeve, sorry, somewhat a loosey Magyar sleeve, what you have to do means you have to mark a point E2, that is 1 inch to 2 inch. E1 is just half an inch to 1 inch. This E2 is 1 to 2 inch. You have to mark a point E2. Then finally what you have to do means for shorter Magyar sleeve, you have to join B, okay, C1 and E. And for longer Magyar sleeve, what you have to do is you have to join with C, C1, E2. Finally, you have to end with E1. Then the last sleeve is cap sleeve. It is a very short in length sleeve. It usually covers the shoulder portion alone, not enlarging under armpit level. So you have to take a basic bodice. You have to extend it still a little, that is off to 1 inch. Then you have to make a point D on the arm bone BC. You have to take the midpoint, that is D. Then you have to join C with D. Then you have to make a point 1/4 inch below E, that is E2. Then you have to join it with the E2. I will repeat it once again. You have to take a basic bodice. Okay. Then you have to extend B to C. That is half an inch to 1 inch as already discussed. That point is C. Then on the arm scale, you have to take a mid portion. That is on B, you have to mark a midpoint D. Then you have to join C with the D. Then on the line E, you have to mark a point E2. That is half an inch or some cases 1/4 inch below E. Then you have to join this with D with E2. Okay, this is the drafting pattern for cap. This is the finished cap sleeve. So this sleeveless type in general commonly used for kids wear, particularly girls apparel. So finally we will be concluding the session. Nowadays it is well known to everyone, just for stitching a simple blouse we are spending a lot of amount, or just for constructing a small garment we are spending a lot. So garments vary in very styles. They are having many designs, but at the same time, the sleeves too have a different styles, and each sleeve is having a different construction method. So this presentation will gives you a thorough knowledge about different construction, different sleeve styles, and after drafting it, which is easy to construct it into a garment. Once you draft a perfect sleeve, it will give you a good function as well as aesthetic sense. It will give you a good comfort as well as it will give you a good decorative thing. Then many varieties of sleeves can be made from just drafting a basic sleeve pattern. Thank you.